Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another presentation. Right now, we have with us Holly Smith, who is an author and also founder of 30 Days of Happiness. Her purpose is to help people wake up happy every day, and her mission is helping others to find happiness through habits. After going through the trials and tribulations herself, Holly came out on top with miracle healing, so to speak, from depression. And then she wrote the 30 Days to Happiness book to help those who are unhappy wake up happy every single day. Her book consists of 30 different habits that will reconstruct your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind, to wake up happy every single day. And these were the same things and the same habits that she'd used to pull herself out of depression. She's the founder of Biz Fit and also is now coaching business owners to create better habits and also to build a plan to execute and be held accountable to build their businesses. She's been helping people from all around the world build amazing habits and teaches them to hold themselves accountable. And she has done that through her happiness formula. She's worked with some of the world's most influential business owners and people from all around the world, and has a podcast and a book launched this year, plus multiple businesses running. She is a writer for Brains Magazine and has been on radio shows, podcasts, and summits and more. And she's ready to share all of that with you. So her presentation is how to create your perfect morning routine, and how you can do this for yourself, or if you're a coach or a therapist, how you can do this with and for your clients. So let's hear it from Holly Smith. Thank you so much for saying yes to our invitation, Holly.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to share what I have for you today. We all know that morning routines are the foundation and the rudder of the day. And if we do not have an efficient and an effective morning routine that's going to set us up for a successful day, then generally how we start the day is how we're going to end the day. So I'm going to take you through a few habits that you can implement, and then you can actually take action and then create your own morning routine based on the habits and the science around it.
Awesome.
So I'll just share my screen. How to create your perfect morning routine. A lot of us think that we have to be part of the 5 a.m. wake up club, or we have to journal and then meditate and then exercise. And then by the time 9 o'clock comes and we actually, ready to start the day, we've just wasted 3 hours on just doing stuff rather than intentional efforts that are actually going to excel the rest of the day intentionally. So I'm going to take you through a few habits and how you can then build your morning routine so you can be the most successful person that you can possibly be. Because if you're a coach and you're a business owner, you are the business. So if you're not showing up, how do you expect your clients? How do you expect everyone else to show up the best version of themselves if you're not doing it yourself? Now, you're not living by integrity, which is a value everybody should have. It is not I do not actually believe it should be a personal value. I believe everybody should have integrity, right? So if you have your values and core competencies in line, then integrity should be a standard for you. So finding a morning routine that actually works for you. Now, a lot of us will copy someone off the internet or someone we've seen, or your neighbor, or we think, all right, what does success look like, and what is that put into play into our schedule? And you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. to have an awesome morning routine. You don't have to meditate and journal for hours. You don't have to exercise every single morning. Like, this is all needs to be based around you and your lifestyle, your work, your brain, how you work, your personality. So it needs to fit in with your lifestyle first of all. You want to find something that works for you. So you need to do something that you enjoy. There's no point waking up and going for a run because you think, that's going to make you the best version of you when you hate running. What's the point of doing something you don't like to do, right? You're just going to dread waking up instead of excited to then pursue your purpose in the rest of the day. So do something that you actually enjoy. If you love journaling, meditation, you love going for walks, you love exercising, if you love running, then do it. A routine that will actually benefit you. Again, like I was just saying, if you are not training for a marathon and you hate running, but you're forcing yourself to go for a run every morning, what is the point? And it's not going to benefit you. Have sore knees and then you go for a run. I'm using a running example because it's easiest to understand, right? If you struggle to meditate and you have you can keep working on it, but if you really struggle first thing in the morning to meditate and then you start falling asleep like I do, then maybe meditation first thing in the morning isn't the best time of the day to meditate. So you really need to be strategic with the way you plan your morning and the way you plan your day. You need something that is efficient and also productive. Like I was saying before, you don't want to spend hours then journaling, then meditating, and then, most important task, and then exercising, and then all of a sudden 12 o'clock comes around and you haven't actually even got into your deep work yet, if that makes sense. And there's an alignment with your goals. There's no point doing something first thing in the morning or having a morning routine that's not even in line with your purpose, your mission, and your goals. So that's also really important.
So the morning routine is more like not so much of a cookie cutter as it is find out what, ticks the box for you and then use the principles to make that work for you.
That's exactly right. And that's it. I'm going to show you the habits that then you can create.
Love it.
Because the thing is, there is no cookie cutter routine for anybody. Like people think they have to have the same as someone else, or these guys here, these successful people. But all successful and happy people have a morning routine. Now, I say happy because a lot of people define success as happiness, right? So all successful and happy people have a routine. Steve Jobs, Kevin Hart, The Rock, Buddha, for example, they all have morning routines. Now, and if I just go back one, I know, for example, The Rock, he does not sleep very often. He only sleeps probably 5 to 6 hours at night. He'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. He'll literally do, meditation or cardio, and then he'll go have breakfast, and then he'll do his weights, and then he'll spend 16 hours of days on set. So he's got a massive day. But if you did what he did and your body type is not like his, and you haven't actually built the resilience, then it's not going to work for you, and you're not going to enjoy the routine, right? Kevin Hart's very similar. And then it's very interesting. So Steve Jobs, anyway, I'll go through that in a second, but there's reactive and proactive. Yeah, so there's two different types of ways that you can kind of start your day. You can either start it reactive or proactive, and they'll take you through those definitions. So reactive means reacting to the past rather than anticipating the future. So let me give you an example of a reactive start to your day. You wake up, you snooze your alarm, you're late for work, and then you're stressed, you drop your coffee on the floor and you feel like a mess. That is reactive, right? Because it's not in alignment and you didn't stay disciplined enough, right? If that makes sense. And plus, sometimes we can't actually help a reactive routine, like our dog gets out, or, someone calls us and say, come pick me up from X, Y, and Z, or, sometimes we can't help a reactive routine, but if you have something in place, like a plan B, then it's going to be less stressful for you. Proactive, acting before a situation becomes a source of, confrontation or crisis, right? So what you would want to do is to be proactive is to make sure that you set 2 alarms that are like a minute apart so you don't snooze it and then forget. Right? That would be proactive in starting a proactive day. Waking up and putting on positive music instead of the news. That will allow your mindset to be in the right mindset, right? Rather than focusing on what's going on in the world, but focus on you first. So they're just like examples of reactive, proactive. You want to start the day proactive and plan. So Steve Jobs, he literally locks he stands in front of the mirror. So this is part of his morning routine and his ritual. This helps him have a proactive day. And he pretty much, stands in front of the mirror, and then he asks himself, if today was the last day of my life, would I be happy with what I'm about to do today? Now, that's a really powerful statement. And, you can try that yourself, but he did that every single day. But then he doesn't just leave it there. If the answer is no, too many days in a row, he knew something needed to change, right? So that was his morning routine and his ritual, and that's all he did. That was his morning routine. He didn't have a 2-hour morning routine of meditation and this and that, blah, 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 right? Do we have any questions around that?
No, I'm just following up with you. It's like, I like that question very much, actually. It's very powerful. It reminds me of what monks, some Christian monks, they used to greet each other when they would meet on the mountains. They would meet each other saying memento mori, which basically means remember the dead, remember the death. So it's like, how do you live your life? Well, remember the death, and then, make your life around that. So pretty much the same thing here.
I love that. It's cool. Hey, and that's it. Like, everyone's got their own rituals, and I think asking yourself specific questions allows you to get a result in whatever areas, and critical thinking is something that, I work with my clients on. Okay, so look, how long should a morning routine go for? We've talked about this a little bit. It's really, again, up to you. No longer than 2 hours. So you could go for the gym for an hour and do an hour of MIT work, so most important task work, or meditating and journaling, whatever works for you. There's no right or wrong answer. No less than 10 minutes. So, for example, Steve Jobs, he probably does 5 minutes, but then he probably goes to the bathroom and then does that. And that's his part of his morning routine, right? And that probably adds up to 10 minutes. So no less than 10 minutes. You want to be intentional with what you're about to do. I know someone who simply just meditates for 10 minutes and that's their morning routine. Works really well. And it's all about finding what works for you and your lifestyle, like I've been saying. Okay, so first things first.
So between 10 minutes and 2 hours.
Yeah. 10 minutes to 2 hours. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It just depends on you, what you love to do. And as I take you through these habits, you'll understand what will work for you and what you'd like to do and how long that's actually going to take. Plus, people don't have, like some people, for example, who work a 9 to 5 and starting a business or a side hustle, they may not feel like they have the time to do a 2-hour morning routine, but they might do a 10-minute meditation and then work like all day. That makes sense, with obviously strategic breaks in between. So just first things first, you want to pick a wake up time 30 minutes earlier than you would usually get up. Now, this is not for everyone. This is only for people who have not started a morning routine. So if you're waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to tell you to wake up at 3:30 a.m. in the morning and, you go to bed, let's just say around 10 o'clock, you're not going to have a quality sleep. You might, but it may not be long enough. So only if you haven't started your morning routine process and you're waking up, you could wake up earlier, that 30 minutes early is going to allow you the time to now implement a morning routine. Do not touch technology. Now, the reason behind this is not just because of the light on your phone, but it's generally the first thing you see, you hear, and you touch first thing in the morning will literally distinguish how you feel, think, and react for the rest of the day. And that's been scientifically proven. So if you wake up and start scrolling on social media and get that little dopamine hit, but then something else you see and you start comparing yourself to that person, or you watch something on the news, or you're listening to music with negative words, that is all going to transform with how you feel into your brain, how you feel, and start reacting, right? And then you get into a reactive state like we were talking about before. All right, so let's get into the habits. So these are some of the habits that are actually in my book, and a successful morning routine is actually one of my chapters in my book, so 30 Days to Happiness. Silence. Now, I love silence first thing in the morning. I personally love to wake up and go for a walk with no headphones, nothing, no phone, and just walk. And it allows me to wake up efficiently and properly without the external influences of music, of people, of all sorts of stuff before the day actually arises and, the traffic starts getting busy. I love silence. And the thing is, it gives your brain a chance to slowly wake up, which allows you to feel and be less reactive. So you can also do this through meditation, journaling, just sitting in silence. Like I love going outside, listening to wildlife, nature, and that rejuvenates me. Again, everyone's different. So I'm giving you my examples just so, I might be able to relate to you and give you, a bit of there. So you can.
I'm very much for the silence myself. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Literally, for me, if I hear shouting or screaming or loud music first thing in the morning, it actually irritates me. And then I become reactive to my emotions. So you can also receive revelation ideas. You're able to strategically think. So another habit might be, white space thinking, which I like to do when you go walking, right? White space thinking is simply thinking with no external influences. So no music, no podcast, nothing. You're just there walking and thinking. That allows you to actually solve problems as well for yourself. And then you can also, silence, meditation, like I was saying before, walking, journaling are just some great ways that you can build a habit around silence first thing in the morning. And again, every personality is different. So you might not want silence first thing in the morning. You might want to put some music on, drive to the gym, and that's your routine. Everyone's different. It's just an option. Habit number 2, affirmations. Now, this is one of the first habits that actually pretty much reconstructed, I guess, my subconscious to actually start believing what I wanted my life to look like, what I wanted to believe about myself. And the first time I ever started using affirmations, and this is a story in my book, is I remember looking in the mirror and I literally just cried. Like, I hated the way I looked so much. Like, I felt overweight. I literally wasn't, but I was just so upset. Anyway, so what I ended up doing was every time I'd go for a walk every single day. And what I would do is start speaking rivers of life just out of my mouth. Just like, I love my legs. I love my body. I'm grateful today. Like, all these affirmations. And you know what? I did that for like a few months. Never hated my body ever again to that day. Amazing.
And so, and you would say that even though in the beginning when you did so, deep inside, you're like, I don't know, not believing yourself, or you're like, oh, this is bullshit, or were you having back talk in the back of your head when you're saying those things?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And yes, you go, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know this. But you say it over, it's almost like faking it till you make it, but you start believing what you say because you say it so many times, right? That's the power of affirmations. You end up, if you do it over a period of time and it becomes a habit, you actually end up believing what you're saying because you've trained yourself to believe it, right? It will only, a lot of people will say, all right, you can't, affirmations will not work until you believe it and then say it. And I do believe that to an extent, but you've got to start somewhere. A lot of people don't believe what you say when they first get started. It's the same with affirmations. Affirmations, I really, really suggest that you add this. It will take you like a second to say out loud. Saying affirmations whilst in the theta state. So that's also something we're going to talk about in the next slide. And that's pretty much the state where you first wake up when you're like kind of a little bit sleepy and you don't know if you're dreaming or you just woke up, and you're able to retain a lot more information, and the state will allow your subconscious mind to become more receptive to believe what you are saying and how you are feeling. And that's why I think when you first wake up, a really good habit to get into is to go into the bathroom, you brush your teeth, or go to the toilet, whatever you want to do, but put your affirmations on your wall. And what I get all of my clients to do is habit stack. So habit stacking is when you stack something with another habit. So you remind yourself is to every time when you brush your teeth, afterwards you say affirmations, morning and night. So morning affirmations are really important because they will literally change the way you think, feel, and again, react, because they will change your subconscious to start believing what you want in your unconscious. So what I suggest you guys could do is write your affirmations, stick them on your bathroom wall, say them out loud, like look yourself in the mirror, say them out loud as if you already believe them. If you don't believe them, still do it that way because eventually you will. And like I said here, you can look in the mirror, you can sit down with your eyes closed, but make sure you're feeling the emotion that comes from it. So a really great affirmation is you could flip affirmations. So if you don't like, for example, I use this example all the time. If you don't like your legs, you go, all right, well, I hate my legs. Okay, that's what you believe. All right, but what do you not want to believe? All right, I love my legs. Let's flip it. I love my legs and put a grateful twist in it. And I'm grateful today I can walk. Right, so that's what I would put on my wall. That's like a self-love affirmation. If it's more like, a financial freedom affirmation or a positive affirmation, you go, today is going to be a great day and something good is going to happen to me. So you wouldn't say it like, today is going to be a great day and something good is going to happen to me, because you're just not raising your vibrations to a level that you could, and then you'd attract that into your life. So you want to, and I'm sure everyone listening to this, if you're into, the coaching space and NLP, you'll know this, right? Your vibration will carry throughout the day how you start your day. So stand up tall, shoulders back, look yourself in the mirror and say it as if you already believe it. So that's the second habit. Using the theta state. So I love this because, like I was just saying, the theta brain waves can also occur when you're awake, but in a very deeply relaxed state of mind, a state that some may call as autopilot. So you will find if you do meditation, you'll find if you sit there or lay there and you get into that really relaxed state, and you even may get revelation and all sorts of stuff, that is a really good state because, again, your brain is more receptive to believing what you're saying about yourself and what you're hearing, right? So you can use this to the best of your ability when you first wake up in the morning, instead of just being in a reactive mode, like, oh, I've got to get up, do this, blah, 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 my to-do list. Sit there for a moment, visualize your day. Like, I can guarantee you, if you sat down and visualize, close your eyes before you got up in the morning in the theta state and visualize what you do every hour of the day. So I'm going to wake up, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get a coffee, and then I'm going to talk to this person, and how literally visualize your whole day from end to finish takes a little while, but I can guarantee your day will be 10x better. And every time I don't do this, my days aren't as good. Same with all my clients. There's science behind that.
So basically visualizing the day as you would like it to be, it's pretty much like you're telling your mind what your day would like it to be.
That's exactly right. And if your brain is receptive to that, then you're already manifesting what you want your day. You've already created your day. That's the thing. And that's the whole power of the brain, you know, and actually putting it out to the universe. You, by visualizing, you have already created your reality. And we only create what we want. Right? We can choose what we create, which is really cool. So yeah, that's exactly right. So use the time when you meditate or go for a relaxing walk, or even when you first wake up in the morning, to manifest and reprogram the subconscious to believe what you are saying or visualizing to be true. Alrighty. So fourth habit, breathing and stretching. Now, I used to do breathing and stretching twice a week for 45 minutes because I used to actually teach it with a group of people. As soon as I stopped doing that, I literally, I definitely didn't feel like, I felt more stressed, more, obviously my hips started cramping up. So I was driving a lot more, and intentional stretch and breathing is so important for you, not just your happiness, but for your morning routine. It allows you to release all those, you know, happy hormones and endorphins, but most importantly, it actually just allows you to be centered with your body. We all know as well, when we keep a lot of stress and anxiety in our hips. So if we're able to stretch them out and then do it in a breathing manner, we know how important breathing is, right? Breathing methodology. You know, let me give you some examples. So stretching intentionally and breathing releases dopamine and serotonin, you know, your happy endorphins. So breathing intentionally releases toxins, increases energy levels, releases endorphins, and breaks subconscious habits such as insecurities and fears. So, you know, there's multiple breathing patterns that you can use. I think the most common one at the moment is like the 6-6-8. So you breathe in for 6. Oh no, sorry, 4-4-8. So you breathe in for 4. Hold for 4, and then breathe out for 8. So you could do that whilst you're stretching, and then you focus on your breath, not on all the thoughts for the rest of the day, and you're stretching. So you're actually learning to multitask in that area too, which is really good for your reflexes and reactive skills. All right. So yeah, that's also really important. So I also have I like to do a bit of a stretch and breathing flow. So I like to do stretch pretty much every area of my body and breathe and listen to really calm music as I do it. And that's almost to me a form of meditation. Every time I do it, yes, it takes effort. But every time I do it, just 5-10 minutes, I feel so much better. I just feel so good. Like I just feel relaxed. I feel at peace, as if you just did a meditation. So that's just pretty much another form. Stretching releases endorphins, increases energy levels, and increases flexibility to reduce pain and injury. Lower back, hips, upper traps generally cause us a lot of pain. We hold a lot of stress in those areas too. So if we can release them, we're going to just feel a lot better for the rest of the day. Any questions?
No, keep going. I like it. I love it.
Oh, amazing. We've already talked about visualizing, but habit number 5. So yeah, we already talked about this habit. So habit number 5, visualizing. And yeah, you do this in the theta state if you like, but you don't have to. It's just another way to, I guess, make your brain a little bit more receptive. So manifest what you want for the future. That is one key component, visualizing. So like I said, one thing that you might want to add into your morning routine, and this will help your day become less reactive, is just sitting down in your chair before you start your day or before you get out of bed, and literally visualize how you want to feel, how you want to look, what you want to do, who you're going to talk to. Like literally visualize all those little things. It's amazing. It helps you set your intention for the day, and then 90% chance of having more productive and successful day. Literally, like every time I do it, I can't even tell you a time when I didn't visualize my day, I didn't have a good day. And I've been doing this for years now. So yeah, that's another one. It doesn't have to be long. It can be like 5-10 minutes. It just depends how much you visualize, right? How long you visualize.
Yeah.
Exercise.
Yay! But again, let's just remind people, these are just pointers. It doesn't mean that if you don't do every single of those things, you will not have a happy life. This is just Because some people exercise means like really going down into a pool of sweat and like really go hard. For some others, it would mean like lifting heavy weights, and for others, it just means to, I don't know, sweep the floors, and it's still called exercise.
That's exactly right. Look, if you've got a physical job, that's still classed as exercise. But if you have an office job, then I recommend that you definitely do exercise, not just for your physical health, but for your mental health and for your lower back and your core, for your posture, like all the other things, right? So exercise is important, like first thing in the morning. And like I said before, like you don't have to go for a run and run 10Ks just like your neighbor did, or you don't have to go to the gym and do squats every day. You can do whatever you want. You can go for a really nice, light 30-minute walk. You can do a stretching routine. You could do yoga. You could simply just go for a 10-minute walk, as long as you're moving your body. So we could even change this habit to movement. So it releases happy endorphins. Obviously, we know that without getting our heart rate up, more oxygen and blood flow to the brain, increases energy levels, focus, and productivity due to the increase, like I just said, oxygen and blood flow to the brain. So look, again, it's been scientifically proven, and the reason I get up and move my body straight away is it makes me 10x more productive for the day, right? It helps me set my intention, it gets all those happy endorphins rising. So when I jump on my calls, when I have back-to-back meetings pretty much for 10 hours a day, I'm showing up. I'm showing up the version that I want to be for my clients. And you can incorporate walking, weights, classes, stretching, or yoga, and that's just to name a few. You can choose to do this, it benefit you. And to be honest, if you struggle with anxiety, depression, or stress, and you are in a reactive mode first thing in the morning, exercise is the first thing I suggest you start doing out of all the habits. And I know that because, I've built a fitness business the last, 8 years. So that's my background is fitness and exercise, and how that is linked to your mental health is just amazing. So exercise.
So use exercise to combat reactiveness.
Yes. Yeah. Because you're able to put your intention not on the external factors of what's happening. Oh, I'm late. I'm this, I'm that. I don't like the way I look today. That person said this, or, it didn't go the way I wanted to. I'm tired. All the kind of those negative emotions come up. And we've got to think about the first thought that comes into our head is probably how we're going to feel, how we're going to talk to ourselves or talk to other people who talk to us as well, because that's what we'll attract. So exercise just pretty much helps release all that stress that we're really unaware of, but increases all your happy endorphins. Exercise for if you have, again, deal with anxiety or mental health issues or anything like that, exercise needs to become part of your routine, needs to be. I was literally just worked with the clients, and he, with a series of habits, including, a few of these that we've talked about today, he's literally been off antidepressants now for weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, I was. Many studies are showing that actually the best antidote or the best treatment for depression is exercise. Right there.
That's simple. Literally. But the thing is, and I was had a lady on my podcast the other day, and she was an alcohol specialist, binge drinking kind of specialist, and she was amazing. And she was saying, even for her, as an alcoholic, she went to, the psychiatrist or whatever, or counselor, I can't remember who she went to, and they pretty much didn't even ask if she was drinking alcohol. They literally just put her on medication. They literally didn't even ask if she was drinking alcohol. And I thought, wow. I mean, how many times is that happening around the world right now with other issues that are actually going on, right? But habits will pretty much change your life.
Absolutely.
Habit 7, fill your mind with positivity. Happy thoughts, happy life. I like to say.
As you said that, I imagine myself having a bucket, throwing it down into some sort of a recipient, which would be my mind, and I'm filling it out with happy thoughts.
Oh yeah. That's it. Think of your mind as like a computer, right? Download what you want to start thinking. Download how you want to feel. If you put negativity in the news and what that person said the other day to you, and you hanged on to that, held on to that, scrolled on social media, listened to music with heaps of swearing and negative vibration, you're probably going to feel all those things, right? Those negative emotions. So if you can fill your mind first thing in the morning with any kind of positivity that makes you happy, positive music, just anything that makes you happy. Again, this is going to relate to everyone completely differently, because what makes me happy might not make you happy, right? Yeah. Your thoughts will control how you feel and act, and also react. So if you think of it this way, you think, something happens, you think of something, right? And then you feel, and then that can also cause into what you say. So be really careful what comes out of your mouth, because that's what you manifest. That's how you feel. That's what you start believing. So if we can control our thoughts, we can control our words, we can control our emotions, which is one of the most hardest thing in this day and age to actually do, but it can happen. So if you can control your positive thinking, right, you can control how you feel, your emotions. You have control over your emotions. So filling your mind with positivity first thing in the morning will make or break your day, as your thoughts will become your new focus, your belief system, and your reality. And that is absolutely true. You can listen to something positive, you can read, you can journal, meditate. Affirmations are probably, if you're like, I don't know what to do first thing in the morning to, raise my vibration and, my frequency and just feel positive and start my day right, go into the mirror, say your affirmations out loud. That's the first thing that you can do. And then go exercise or journal, do something that you enjoy. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And then 8, gratitude. I'm pretty sure this is my last habit. Gratitude. So allows you to set a positive intention and direct your focus on what matters most. Like a lot of the time, we live in such a world where sometimes we don't mean to, but we think, all right, why me? Oh, I've got to do this today. Oh, I want to go to work. I don't want to do this. And it's not until you see someone who's in a completely different situation to you. Like the other day, I was talking to my friend, and she pretty much just built a house for this lady in a third world country. She showed the house beforehand and then the one that she built. And she had 8 kids. Her husband died. It was pretty horrific. And I just got so emotional, because I think here we are in a world with so privileged just to eat food every single day. And this woman has 8 children and just trying to survive and look after her kids. That's tough, right? I'm getting emotional talking about it. But gratitude is just the number one thing that, everyone who struggles with either mental health or anxiety or anything like that, writing 3 things down that you're grateful for every single day. I believe actually that should become a habit for everybody. And you could do that after your affirmations. You could do it first thing when you wake up in the morning. It's actually very common to write 3 things you're grateful for if you're in the personal development space. And it just allows you to get out of your own headspace, focus on what you're actually grateful for, because we know that emotion gratitude allows us to be at peace, allows us to give others value too, and not just get out of our own heads. I think that's really important. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every morning and night, or start journaling process. That's also going to really help with your positive. So this is another thing that you can do to add positive thoughts into your brain. Like we talked about in the last habit, practicing gratitude releases happy endorphins and is the most common habit of happy people. And, Buddha, everybody talks about this, literally everybody. Napoleon Hill, gratitude is the key. It is literally the key that will unlock your negative mindset and allow you to experience what you want to experience and attract the things you want to attract. So gratitude is definitely one of my favorites. And I'll give you a quick example as well. Like the other day, which is very rare for me, I woke up in a really negative headspace, and I was like, man, I haven't felt negative in ages, probably the hormones going through me. I just woke up. So I went for a walk, and I was like, all right, what do I need to do to get out of this negative headspace? I literally, for about 10 minutes, started speaking affirmations over me. Literally started thinking, all right, what are 10 things I'm grateful for? 10 minutes it took. I only took 10 minutes, and my mindset was in a completely different headspace. I was a completely different person. And that is how powerful habits are. So I do have this worksheet that I'm happy to provide you guys if you wanted to use it. Yeah, so I'll give that to you to send to everybody as well. So starting your or start creating your morning routine. So in this template, it allows you to kind of, intentionally with accountability, put in like, what time you'll wake up on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you feeling this morning? So this is a daily one. I've also have like a one-time create morning routine document as well. I can also send you guys. What are 3 affirmations that you want to start saying every morning? There's 2 to 5 morning routine habits that you will implement today. So you might re-watch this or go back, or you might have been writing stuff down already, and you might want to write down your favorites. Again, I don't suggest you do every single habit that I've just talked about today. Pick 1 to 3, like literally, like don't just do, if you want to do all of them, like I will intentionally do all of them. Actually, no, I will do all of them on autopilot because they've become a habit in my life, hence the book, right? But like, for example, it's gratitude might be when I, 2 hours after my morning routine, you know what I mean? So it can be throughout the day as well. List 5 things you are grateful for. List your priorities for the day. Use 1 word to describe how you want to feel today. I really love that because it's a really great reminder. And then what is your goal / intention for today? So you want to make sure that your intention are set straight up. And that's why I love writing use the 1 word to describe how you want to feel. Absolutely crucial, because you can just like put on a sticky note next to your desk and go, I want to feel motivated. And that reminds you, right? That little word reminds you, or big word, I should say. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys. Any questions?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So when you are, hitting a wall, hitting a ceiling, whatever you're hitting, because people say, hey, I saw Holly's presentation. That is awesome. And it's going to help me do a better job with myself and my clients. But, sometimes you just hit a wall and you feel like you can't do this stuff anymore. It is too much. I just feel so tired and unmotivated, or something happened recently with me in my life and I just feel like I just couldn't be bothered to do all of these, super duper habits.
Yeah, good question, because it's very common. The thing is, I think everyone should listen to this again and just remind themselves constantly, write it down. When you feel unmotivated or overwhelmed, it's not because you're overwhelmed or stressed or anything like that. I just want to get that straight. It's because you're lacking clarity on why you're doing it. That is the reason why. Because no one wakes up at 5 o'clock to go to the gym in the morning for absolutely no reason. I go, today I'm going to go to the gym for no reason, They say, I'm going to wake up today because I'm going to lose 10 kilos in the next 6 months because I want to fit into my wedding dress. I want to wake up today and go to the gym because I know that my mental health is going to go downhill in the afternoon if I don't take action today. There is strategic thinking behind this, and you need to really analyze what habits that we just went through are going to benefit you. And if you're not sure, try them, like do 1 every single day for the next 8 days. But when you feel unmotivated or anything, just remind yourself that no one actually wants to do that either, but people choose to do that because you're lacking clarity on why. So talk to someone, sit down and ask yourself 7 reasons why. Like, there's so many ways you can gain clarity, but that would be my answer.
Gotcha. And have you also done this or used this with different clients? Like, have you apply this method in working with clients and, apply this to specific needs or issues that they had, that they wanted to, like different goals that they wanted to achieve? Like I'm thinking right now, business clients or life coaching situation where clients come in and says, hey, you know what, I need to change something in my life because it doesn't work out fine. It's not the way I wanted, but I would like to, make this happen. So is that possible to use it that way?
Oh, 100%. So for example, most people come to me and I'll give you the most common example. We'll be like, I just need to get organized my days. I'm not ticking all the stuff off my to-do list. Like, I still haven't done X, Y, and Z from 2 months ago. Like, my days are a mess. I've got like all this stuff going on. And how am I supposed to scale my business when I'm getting in my own way, right? So what habits place for them to get out of their own way and start actually creating a strategic plan. So for example, if they have the most energy first thing in the morning and they're not using that time to do their most important tasks or their deep work or exercising, then why wouldn't you put it there? So you've got to be really strategic. And that's what I do. We strategically plan out your calendar, we rip it apart, and we will plan it out efficiently. So let's just say someone comes to me and they say, oh, I need to be more productive and I want to make an extra 10 grand this month. What can I do? All right, well, let's strategically plan out your day. What habits do we need to implement? Do we need to work on more money-making activities? What do we need to delegate? But with these habits, I guess we've already talked about, that's just the standard, getting a successful result in any area of your life. The visualization, the gratitude, this and that. If you do it on a daily basis, it's going to become a habit. And then you'll actually implement another habit because that's an autopilot habit. So that's kind of, I guess, would be my answer. Again, with other people I work with, like I said about the guy who's off antidepressants, literally we implemented, because I hold him accountable. Accountability is the number one key to any kind of success in holding a habit, because discipline plus habits equals freedom. Always remember that you're able to create freedom in life, time, money, family, whatever it is, right? Whatever that means to you. But people who are suffering with more mental health issues or anything like that, depression, anxiety, first things first, we will eliminate those names from their vocabulary. I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm stressed. That doesn't even come out their mouth anymore. So that's, like I was saying, what you think, how you speak is what you believe. So that was another habit that we did, right? And by doing that, they're way happier. They're literally not even on their anti-depressants anymore. They're literally moving forward into the life they want to live. So I've got heaps of examples, but there's just a few.
Yeah. So how is there a way to implement, for instance, because there are so many ways of working with habits and there are so many books out there on habits. Is there a way to implement, like, for instance, I forget the name now. There is a guy, his name is BJ Fogg, for instance, who has been working heavily with habits. And there's also Atomic Habits, where they basically are teaching you, like, step by step how to have better habits, so to speak. So do you tackle any of those ways of working with habits in your methodology?
Yeah, I do. The answer is yes. I think as well, like all those books, like 7 Highly Effective Habits, James Clear, BJ Fogg, like all those others. What's the other one? Branson something. What his name? But
those two, it's the ones I remember myself. Yes.
Yeah.
BJ Fogg and James Clear.
Yeah. There's heaps though. There's I've got a list somewhere. I just forgot the names. There's heaps. Even Napoleon Hill talks about habits in his book, Think and Grow Rich, right? Grow Zero C, Millionaire Success Habits. Like the thing is, guys, they all talk about the same thing. If you've read all these books, they all talk about the same thing. There's nothing different about them, right?
Yeah.
They just change their language and the way they do it. Some of them do it focus on the science and the neuroscience behind it. A lot of it doing personal development, self-beliefs. Like there's just different areas of personal development. So yes, I incorporate those things. But what 30 Days to Happiness focuses on, and the other books don't focus on, is that all your habits that you are implementing every single day, they're good, but they're great because they actually result in fulfillment, contentment, purpose, and happiness. So they don't really talk about, like, a little bit, they do a little bit, but they don't really talk about how deep internally you can find your purpose and how that is a habit. How can you live in purpose every single day? Because that is a habit. How do you live by your values every single day? Because that is a habit. How do you just let go and give it all to a higher power so you're not stressed anymore and you don't have to carry that weight on your shoulders anymore? That is also a habit. And what I've seen in these books, they don't talk deeply enough about these topics, but these are the topics that will change your life, because everyone's got a different definition of happiness, right? My definition of happiness is, even if you won the lotto tomorrow, you wouldn't be any happier than you are right now. That is my definition, right? Because I don't believe that materialistic things are there to make you happy, but I guess the formula for happiness, which is my course, the happiness formula, purpose plus contentment equals happiness, right? So if you can find purpose and how you can be content within your purpose and not in materialistic things, you're going to be happy till the day you die. You'll wake up happy every single day. There's no reason behind that if you don't, right?
Mhm,
So yeah,
mhm.
that's my take.
Awesome, awesome. And do you have a evening routine for being happy as well, besides the morning routine?
Yeah, of course, of course. So you can implement some of these habits that we've already talked about today. There were just some that will also raise your vibration and start your day efficiently. But a nighttime routine, you want to pick a bedtime that allows you to have, at least 7 hours sleep or more. So pick a bedtime that you want to pick every single day. Your body is like a clock, guys. So just remind yourself that if you wake up at the same time every day, go to bed at the same time every day, you can train your mind, body, and you can train yourself to do anything. So you can train yourself to get tired at a specific time. You can train yourself to wake up with energy. And that's pretty much what I've done. I wake up at 5, I go to bed, and I'm asleep by 9 o'clock, 9 to 5. So that's my 9 to 5,
Wow.
I sleep. Yeah. So I train myself to do that. But what the trigger is, I've been doing this the last 4 or 5 years. I will read 30 minutes before I go to bed. And that is my trigger to say, Holly, it's time to go to bed. And when I don't read, because it's become such a habit, my sleep is definitely not as quality and not as good. And I've tested that, right? I've tested that throughout the years. A lot of people and a lot of my other clients, half an hour before you go to bed, you want to stay away from technology, get it away from you. Make sure your room is cool. And I talk about this in my book as well, like a happy nighttime routine. Make sure your room is, in a good temperature. You're not sweating, you're not hot. Making sure that you are getting everything out of your subconscious mind onto paper, so you're not stressing about it throughout the night, because we know our subconscious mind is the part of the brain that goes on continuously, right, and does not stop.
Yeah.
If you've got all these stresses and everything in your head, you're actually not even aware of it. You're actually thinking about it all throughout the night without being aware of it. So which means you wake up tired and still stressed from the day before. So what I suggest you guys do is do a bit of a brain dump. Craig Ballantyne talks about this all the time. Grab a pen and paper and just write down all the thoughts that are in your brain, or your to-do list, everything. Get it out of your head, and I can guarantee your sleep will be like, 50% better than it would have been if you had all that.
Amazing. Yeah. And
So
I am one of those who are still going to sleep with my laptop on, or like I'm going in bed with my computer. So I realized that, and I keep on saying, I need to stop doing this. This is stupid.
yeah,
going to sleep or going to bed doesn't mean going to computer.
That's it. That's exactly right. And you just got to create a habit. It's a habit to stay away from technology. It's a habit to do a brain dump, because it takes effort. It takes effort to read. It takes effort to stay away from technology. It's an effort to brush your teeth. It's an effort to do everything that you want to create a habit. But what's more important to you? A good quality sleep, where you're not stressing and you actually wake up feeling energized, or, your old habits, if that makes sense. So figure out a time, an hour or two, before you go to bed, like just go, all right, I'm going to go to bed at this time, and I'm going to do that every single day. You have your dinner, you do family time, whatever you want to do, that half an hour, but that key component is the half an hour before you go to bed. I worked with someone, and he woke up at 3 o'clock every single morning for 20 years, literally, because, when you have kids, it's very common. My mum still does the same thing. And I put, a few habits in place, and I said, all right, do this, really understand what we stripped it all back. And he slept through the whole night for the first time in 20 years. And I was, I'm good, but I was like, man, that was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Well
does
done.
work.
Yeah.
It does work. You just got to do it strategically.
Yeah. So of all the, you have 30 different habits that can help people have a better life and a more fulfilled life. So do you have favorites? Do you have like one which you prefer most out of the others, or one that you hate most out of the others?
Actually, that's so true. It's a good question. All the habits that are in my book pretty much is the reason I'm alive today. So I don't hate any of them. I love them all. But some of them are really hard.
Yeah, hate or hard, or you'd rather not do that one, kind of a thing.
Yeah, like for example, forgiveness is actually a habit. But how the heck do you forgive and let go internally? We'll go 2 years without forgiving someone, without even actually knowing. And then one day something will break us and we realize we haven't actually forgiven that person. And we've actually got all this stress and stuff inside of us still from not forgiveness. We're not forgiving that person or yourself, right? So that's another habit in my book, is forgiveness. How to let go of your stresses, surround yourself with the right people. Like there's just so many things. Again, letting go and just giving it to the universe or a higher power when you aren't in control I think that's hard for everyone, to be honest. That's probably one of my answers, because you've got to really intentionally do it. Otherwise, that's the reason everyone is stressed, because they haven't let go. That is the reason. If you all of a sudden become stressed, you're like, all right, well, why am I stressed? Because I don't have control. So how do we get uncontrolled? Start visualizing what you want and you let it go. And generally the thing will come to you. But my favorite habits are definitely affirmations, smiling. Smiling is a really important habit in my book. First habit I ever implemented when I was really depressed and unhappy. I read it in an article one day about the science behind smiling, blah, blah, blah. And I smiled all the way to work, all the way back home from work. And it was a 20-minute drive. And literally I was smiling all throughout the day at the office. I noticed within a month, I was a happier person. I looked happier, my posture, everything. So I always remind myself to smile, because I can have a real serious poker face. I'm like, especially when I'm in work. Smiling, affirmations, gratitude. But my absolute favorite, when I wake up in the morning, because I wake up with a purpose, and I can't wait to wake up in the morning every single day, because I love my life. I love my job. It's not even a job, it's my purpose, right? I do my living for a purpose. I do my purpose for a living. So, and that's what I want. That's my purpose for everyone else, is they wake up with the same, drive to live their purpose. So silence first thing is really important for me. That's probably my number one favorite habit. Hence why it was number one on this list.
Yay! And the least favorite one?
My least favorite. Again, I think I don't have a least favorite, but I have the hardest, and that is
all right, the hardest one. The hardest one, yeah.
Letting go. And giving into a higher power. You've got to be really intentional with how you do that. And it's not until you let go that your problem will be solved, actually. And I go through the whole process of how to do that through my book.
This is so interesting, when you mention about letting go, because if you have a mental image of the metaphor of letting go, what would that be? And so for some people, letting go is I'm holding something, and then I want, I should let go of whatever I'm holding on to, right? So because sometimes people, they find it very hard, like you said yourself, to let go of things. But if you play with the mental image of holding on to something which causes you pain, and then if you, in your mind or even physically, let go of that something, then also in your mind you let go of that something, and then you let go of that suffering as well. So
and everyone's got a different process of letting go. I know a friend who's a breakthrough coach, he'll do something different. Someone who's limiting beliefs coach, everyone's got their own methodology of how to let go. And ultimate, I guess, if we sum all of it up, is that it needs to become a habit. No matter how you do it, whatever works for you, you've got to be intentional, and it's got to become a habit. Because otherwise, we all know our muscles hold emotion. If we hold stress, it causes diseases. We know all this, right? So letting go and forgiving as well, that's another separate habit. Or also part of it is also just as important.
Awesome. Holly, thank you so much for your wonderful presentation today. Where can people find you? How can they get in touch with you? How can they, work with you if you're available? How can they study with you?
Yeah, no worries. So you can find me on LinkedIn. That's where most of my following and most of my people hang out. Just as Holly Smith, you'll see a big banner that says the happiness formula, trademark. So that's one way you can find me. You can find me on Instagram at Holly_Smith00. I also post a lot of stuff on there as well, and get onto my stories, and you can ask me questions as well. Otherwise, you can go, get my book at 30daystohappiness.com.au, and all other information, free resources. If you're looking for affirmation list or I've got heaps of resources on there. So you're looking for something to actually help you and create better habits, and heaps of free stuff on there. So go visit the site, or give you a signed copy of my book.
Yay! Awesome. So thank you so much again, Holly. So everyone, you know where to find her. Go on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and connect with Holly. That's how I connected with Holly, on LinkedIn. So Holly, again, thank you so much for your presentation. I'm looking forward to connecting with you again in the future.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been great.
All right, everyone, we'll take now a quick break and we'll see you after the break for the next presentation, or we'll see you tomorrow, depending which comes first. Go ahead, take a break, stretch, put a smile on your face, give yourself some good vibes, give yourself some good affirmations, and we'll see you after the break.